Hello everybody, Alan here, and today I'm going to show you how I built my raised bed gardens. You don't need power tools. I have them, so I'm going to use them. But anyway, I'm going to show you how you can do it with simple tools. At the end of the video, I'm going to put a materials list. I'm going to let you know what everything costs so that you'll know what to expect. So anyway, join me in the garden, and I'm going to show you what I've come up with. I'm going to try a couple different things. I'm glad you tuned in, and hope you'll stick around to the end. Okay, so what you're seeing here are the boxes that I built. I used pressure treated wood. I know sometimes people say you shouldn't use pressure treated wood, but the new pressure treated wood, so I'm told by lots of people who build these, is that the different process now, pressure treated is just fine. So anyway, we're gonna go with pressure treated because it will last and last a lot longer. So anyway, these 2x10s pressure treated are 8 foot long, and I purchased 5 of those so that I'd have 4 pieces for the side pieces, and then I took the one 8-foot piece and cut it into 4 equal parts, and what that gave me was each raised bed being approximately 2 foot wide by 8 foot long, so 16 square feet. And by the way, I did a little calculation on that, and the cubic foot or cubic feet in the bag, in the raised beds ends up being about 13 cubic feet. So the reason that's a good thing to know is when you go to buy your soil. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But anyway, so that you know. So these beds, there are 2 of them, and they are approximately 2 foot by 8 foot. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install the end pieces on there, the upright pieces, so that we can put our cattle panel on it. And I'll show you that whole process. Okay, so what I'm going to be using on the end pieces are some more pressure treated 2x4, and I'm going to take and install them. I could install them on the outside of this board here, but because of the panels being exactly 8 foot long, if I do that, then it doesn't really attach. So I'm going to move a little dirt back and put it down on the inside, and that way I'll have something to attach the panel, and you'll see that in a minute. Yes, I could have done this before I put the dirt in there, but I kind of changed my mind about the way I was going to do this, so just have to back up a little bit, as I often do. When I get excited about building something, sometimes it's hard to just get all my plans perfect before I start. I'm kind of more of a design as you go, build as you go person. I'm not saying that's a good thing. So anyway, I'm just going to move the soil back this way, all the way down to the bare dirt. I'm going to go ahead and start a couple screws in here so that they'll be ready to tighten up. Of course, I tend to have to do most of these things figuring out how to do it by myself, which is okay. And I guess we should measure and see exactly how far we want them back. That would be a good thing to do. Okay, so I decided just to measure this and find the center point, which is 11.5, and put a mark there. That way I can attach the panel to the back of it, and it'll be just fine. Also, while I was in the shop a while ago, cut some braces here, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to let this brace sit on the outside of it, and actually worked out pretty good, so I can put a couple screws here and here, and that's not going anywhere. So let's go ahead and get that done, get this one side in place. I'm using these, I guess they're kind of a star head outside deck screw. I think they work kind of the best. You don't have your bits slipping around in it and everything. So that's what I like. Probably should pre-drill some of these, but something like this, an outdoor project, I'm not a big pre-driller. Slows me down too much. I could come back and put another brace on the other side, but I don't think I will. I think this will be enough. Okay, so once again, just going to move the dirt back. I'll tell you another little thing that I did was when I was putting the dirt in here, there was a little bit of grass in the bottom, so what I did was I just used the bags where I dumped the soil out. I used those bags and just lined the bottom of it. Yeah, I like to use everything I can. I could have gone and got some landscape fabric and all of that, but why not just use the bag that it came in and save a little money? My friend Bob Poole would be happy to hear me say that. I have, he is probably my most frugal friend. For those of you who know Bob. He would not at all be offended that I said that. In fact, he'd be somewhat proud of that. Which I'm glad that I've got a few frugal friends. I also want to give a shout out to another person. Her name is Debbie. She'll know who she is. She had said last year when I started the channel that she asked me, in fact, if I was going to do a video on raised beds. Says she'd like to see one, so she kind of inspired me to do this, and I hadn't really thought about doing one on raised beds, but I thought, what the heck. So this is for you, Debbie. Okay, so if you're going to put these ankle braces on there, obviously you want your angles to be opposite of each other, and that way it'll fit flush. And then you can just slide it. I had to cut this one off again because I cut the angle wrong. I do that sometimes. I think we all do. It's one thing about doing any kind of project is don't necessarily worry about making mistakes. A lot of people are so worried about it that they never end up doing anything. My channel, this little subline, is learning along the way, and well, that's definitely what happens a lot of the times. Is you start a project and you learn some things. It's one of the reasons I like doing different projects. You learn different skills, come in handy for different things. So that's that. Yeah, but like I said, these are pretty snug. I could make them even tighter, but for what they're going to do, should work just fine. So I'm just going to put the dirt back in here. I tell you, the nice thing about working with raised beds is it costs a little bit to get your soil started, but it's just nothing like working in loose soil. In Virginia, there's so much clay and stuff, and it takes a long time to get the dirt just right. But anyway, it's just very nice, very easy to work in loose soil. It's good for your plants, and it makes it easy on the person working on the soil. So now you're going to see, this is the panel that I've been talking about. I've heard them called livestock panels, cow panels, all kinds of things. And you don't have to use this. You could use any kind of wire. You could use chicken wire, fence wire. I like the fact that these were 8 foot long, and I don't have to do anything to, I don't even have to cut them. I do have to kind of figure out how I'm going to attach them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise them up here to the top so that I have plenty of room down there and I'm not bumping into it when we plant the. Okay, well anyway, it's time to take a little break for lunch. So as soon as that's done, I'll be back at it. Stay tuned. All right, I'm back with the right bit. It's one thing I like about these little snap-in bits. Although I don't know if you're like me, but I never seem to have the right one at the right time. But anyway, so back to this. I'm going to put just a little bit of a down angle on it, not much. Really just wanted enough to hold the panel up there. All right, so hopefully that'll just hang right on that nail. Yep, and I could have put it a little bit lower. Actually, I think I am, so I'm going to take that down and just drop it down just a little bit so that the top of it here doesn't swing past the 2x4. Like I said, learning along the way. Not measuring that for sure. Or maybe I should. Probably about 1 inch lower actually. Yeah, that'll work. Now, if you want to measure that, you can. I know some of you are cringing because I didn't measure. It's okay. I understand. Anyway, so that's going to hold right there really nice. Slide it back a little bit. All right. Now, what I come up with to attach these other pieces. Hold on just a minute. Yeah, these little things are my favorite. These little electrical ties. So what I'm going to do, and this is this whole thing is a little bit of an experiment, so I don't want you to think that I've built like a bunch of these. I haven't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here about Oh, about halfway, and I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole in this 2x4. And I'm hoping that these electrical ties, these are 8-inch electrical ties, so I'm hoping these are long enough to do this. Just going to thread that through there. Oh yeah, perfect size actually. And then I can just cinch that down. There you go, holes right on there, really good. Really good. Okay, so do a few more of these. I'll show you a little closer shot of it. I'm dropping back maybe an inch, something like that. Yeah, that works real good that time. Okay, and I can come back and snip these little ends off. I probably will to make it look a little neater. But there, that's fastened pretty good. So we'll go do the other side. Okay, so here's a look at the finished product with the cow panel. I'm just going to call it a cow panel, livestock panel, whatever. Looks pretty good. I think it'll work. That's kind of the main thing. Okay, so that's it for this raised bed. All right, a little recap. If I can get through this without this pollen causing me to choke. Anyway, we've got the raised bed. You can see it right back here, and what it consists of is two 2x10s, 8 foot long, and 2 pieces of 2x10, approximately 23.5 inches, or let's just say 2 feet. So to make 2 of these raised beds, you'll need a total of 5 2x10s, 8 foot. That'll give you enough for your 4 long pieces and also for your 4 short pieces, making your rectangle. And then the other thing is the 2x4 uprights. These are also pressure treated. And I went with 6 foot tall. I don't think I talked about that. I got 8 foot ones. I cut the 2 foot off and used it as the brace. So therefore you have your 2 uprights and your 2 braces with each one of your 2x4s. And then the last piece of the puzzle is the cow panel or the livestock panel, whatever you prefer to call it. So how much did this cost? Well, basically each one of the raised beds is about $30 for the wood, and then the panel itself is $15. So you might as well say $45, and you add your screws and a few electrical ties, you might as well say $50. So for $100, you can build 2 of these raised beds. Now, that's just to build the raised bed. And what about the soil and things that you put in them? So, like I said earlier, by my calculations, there are about 13 cubic feet area inside of the raised bed. So most of the garden soil is coming in 2 cubic foot bags, so I use basically about 6.5 bags in each one of them. And depending on what price you get those, most of the time they are around $7 a bag, $6.99. Actually, I used the Jolly Rancher. I believe it was a Jolly Rancher or Jolly Rancher, that's a candy. Jolly Gardener soil, that was $6.99, and then I used one bag of Miracle Grow because it had the fertilizer and everything, and I just liked the brand Miracle Grow, so I threw one bag in that. So let's just for sake of easy math, let's just say 7 bags of garden soil in each one of them. So if we got 7 bags and 7 times 7, that's 49. You might as well say $50. So it costs as much to get the soil in it as it does to raise bed. So all total, you're looking at about $100 per 2-foot by 8-foot raised bed. It sounds like a lot, but next year, you know, that you'll have them, they'll already be in place, and then it's just a question of putting your plants in. So with raised bed gardening, there is some upfront cost, but each year those things get a little bit cheaper and a little bit cheaper and a little bit cheaper. And I've tried different things. I've on a couple other beds here, I've used cedar. Cedar is very expensive. It's a great material to use, but it's just it's more expensive than the pressure treated pine. And I'm really not afraid of the pressure treated. After seeing some videos and a lot of really good gardeners using that, I feel more and more comfortable with that. So anyway, I am gonna, like I told you that I'm gonna do, at the end of the video I'm gonna put a sheet that will show the cut list of the material. It'll show the cost of the lumber, it'll show the cost of the panel, and it'll show the cost of the gardening soil. So you'll know what you're kind of getting into.